What's going on, guys? So I'm going to be making a thread that goes over the difference between market structure shifts, which are basically trend changes. So what a market structure shift is let's say you have lower highs and lower lows, okay? And then let's say you sweep liquidity, take out stops, and then you break that last lower high, right? So this, to me, would be a market structure shift. Then you look for retracement and an entry down there, okay? Versus a liquidity grab is, let's say you've like a market structure shift and then you've what looks like maybe retail resistance up here. Okay, would you agree that this looks like resistance? I could draw a line and be like, okay, we rejected it twice, that's resistance. Versus, so the liquidity grab would be something like we get our entry here, and then this would be the liquidity grab, okay? And I don't know this in the moment, but this is where I'm taking profit anyways for like half my position, okay? So this is pretty close to where I entered, but in the moment I'm like, okay, see, this looks like retail resistance, just in case this we go over and reject. Okay, see something like this. This is where I'm taking most of my profits, and then I'm gonna leave a runner. Okay, so in the moment I don't know if this is a liquidity grab or not. It's not a market structure shift, but it is because a market structure shift already happened. But no matter what happens, this is where I'm scaling. And yeah, I could scale half and then leave a runner with stop and break even, so my stop would be down here, and this could happen. Okay, so I don't really know in the moment if this is liquidity grab, and I'm gonna go through my live thought process here and kind of explain from the 1 minute. Okay, so this is starting at midnight, so it's gonna be a little slow volume at first. Okay, and something I do look for with market structure shifts is there has to be a lot of displacement. Okay, so right here, I would not really consider this a market structure shift because, one, we have equal highs right here. Okay, so I'm always zooming out on the higher time frame, seeing what we have. Okay, we have equal highs right here, which looks bullish because this looks like retail resistance, right? So this could be a market structure shift, but if it is, I'm not taking it because I already know this is this, or I already know there's liquidity up here, and there's not like, obviously this is low volume stuff right now. We'll get to the higher volume stuff, but I see we also took out a bunch of lows here. So I'm not really confident in going short after taking out this many lows. That's just personal preference. If you ever see that many lows we take out at one time, usually that's a liquidity grab and not a market structure shift. Okay, I'm looking for like a single high to be kind of broken. So you guys see this up. Okay, right here, again, I would not consider this really a market structure shift because, one, I still see the equal highs, and two, we're just taking about a bunch of stops from over here. Okay, I would say this does have displacement, and this does look like a textbook short. Okay, this does look like a textbook short. If you don't think that, then you need to restudy ICT. But the reason why I wouldn't short it is because there's equal highs above. So again, I don't really know what happens. I just got to the computer screen, but I would possibly think about longing here. Okay, because this would be, again, we took out a lot of the lows at the same spot, and then we formed kind of a bullish BPR, okay, which is a balanced price range. Do you see how these fair value gaps line up? And this is at 2:15 in the morning, so I probably wouldn't long here if I was up. I was sleeping at this time. But if this was the New York kill zone, this would be good long, and my target would probably be these equal highs. That's just me personally. Okay, so it ends up working. Again, even though this worked, I probably wouldn't have longed it because the timing. Okay, and here's where you're probably like, okay, well, is this a market structure shift? This isn't a market structure shift, okay, but it is like you do want to see this high taken out to get to these equal highs. Okay, so let's say you enter here, and I have this labeled, okay, right here. Do you see how this is a really complete high? Okay, and you can see we kind of get our over it. I am scaling at this high. Like, this is automatically before I enter the trade, okay? If I'm entering it here, if I go back a little bit, I already know I'm going to take partials here, okay? Because if we don't go above this high with acceleration, then this could be a liquidity grab. But because this high is so high, and these equal highs are so close to it, I'm not really expecting a ton of displacement over it. So no matter what, I'm taking profits. I'm taking half profits here, okay? And a lot of people don't understand, like, oh, well, what if you get a market structure shift here? Well, I don't know if we will, so this is just one of my scale targets, okay? I'd say this is also another scale target because this is pretty high too. But I probably would just wait for this because this would be horrible risk to reward. Okay, so I'd probably scale half here and then wait till the equal highs hit. So, again, right here, I don't know. It looks like it's going to be, we're not going to displace over it just because it's a pretty obvious high, okay? And if I was looking for a market structure shift, I'd be looking for like something kind of shorter term. So let's say we get another lower high right there, okay? I'd be looking for something like this, okay? Like a displacement over, like obviously right here we don't really have that yet, but this is kind of what I'd be looking for. You want to see like a lower high, kind of a pretty obvious lower high break with a pretty good green candle. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so I may have been stopped right here before hitting the equal highs, but you can see we end up hitting the equal highs. Okay, what happens when we hit the equal highs? Okay, this looks like a market structure shift, right? Okay, so this is what I'm kind of talking about. The equal highs were right here, I think. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. These are the kinds of things where I'm like, okay, this is a market structure shift. Okay, we have a last obvious high, we have a very giant displacement candle over. Okay, but the only reason, okay, and also you long this for a big gap. The only reason you want it in this situation, this happens to be a little different scenarios because we already hit buy side liquidity up here. So we know we already have equal highs up here. So even if we get displacement above this, we're not gonna long a fair value gap after hitting liquidity. Okay, that's like the number one rule of ICT. So in this situation, I would probably be out of my position here if I didn't get stopped on here. But this is the market structure shift that you're looking for. You're looking for last lower high, which is pretty obvious. You can see how you can just clearly see this even if you back away from a screen and you see a giant green candle go over it. That is a market structure shift. But just because this situation we hit the equal highs, I would not long that. Let me see if I can find another one. Oh, yeah, right there, right there. I need to go back. Okay, right here. This, okay, you see all these red candles. We know we hit buy side. Okay, because of this displacement, to me, this is definitely 100% a market structure shift because if you go to like the 3 minute, okay, look how much displacement there is, okay? And we already hit buy side. Okay, and we have some low resistance liquidity down here, which means once we hit this low, that probably means we're going to accelerate to this low, accelerate to this low, and then I just recess from there. So to me, this would be market structure shift because one, we took out liquidity, and two, you can just see the pretty big red candles going under this low, and this is the last higher low, okay? So this would be market structure shift. Now I'd be looking for a short right here. I've literally have no idea what happens after this. Let's see if it gives us a short entry. Doesn't look, okay, it didn't. So it doesn't look like it gives us a short entry there, but we did hit low of day. Okay, what happens after you hit the low? You would not want to short. Okay, so you're not shorting again after you hit the low. So now is like, okay, you saw we hit the low. I would be hoping this will never be a market structure shift. Okay, whenever you hit a low day and high day, that's never a market structure shift. Going under these low, going under this low, this is never a market structure shift. Okay, this is old structure. You want to see new structure. Okay, this is new structure. So you're looking for shifts over here. And if you look at the 1 minute, now that you know we hit low day, you would be looking for a market structure shift. Okay, so like okay, so this right here, see these two green candles over this high? I would consider this a market structure shift. And I would not consider this a market structure shift if you just didn't take out low day. But because I know we took out low day, I'm like, okay, this has got to be market structure shift. There's no way this is a liquidity grab. This low is this high is like too small to even be a liquidity grab. And I see displacement through it. Okay, so I'm looking for long position probably here. This is about 3:50 a.m. I don't really trade at this time, or I'd probably be looking for this long right here. Okay, and again, we know we have the 3 minute fair value gap. Okay, so this would probably be my point of interest. And I just want to say something. Okay, before we hit low day, this would have been a good short, okay? So if we just went from right here and hit it and then down to low day, this would have been a good short. Okay, now that we hit low day, I'm not really interested in shorting this. I know this is a market structure shift before, okay? But now I'm looking for a market structure shift up because I already know we hit low of day. So you have to apply that. So you have to look at new structure. The old structure does not matter. It does in some cases. This case, it does not. So now I'm looking for new structure now that we took liquidity. So yeah, we bounced from there. It looks like, okay. And because this is a 3-minute fair value gap, just in case I'm wrong and we don't go through this, okay, I'm scaling here no matter what, but it's not a new short position I would take because I already know we hit low day. I don't want this to work anyways. And again, if you back away 10 feet from your screen, this does still look like retail resistance a little bit. And yesterday, my live stream, I did have this 5-minute fair value gap marked, okay? And the reason I like this one is because there's equal highs right above it, okay? So if you look right here, see these equal highs? There's equal highs right below it. I'm sorry. So I would say this would be my next point of interest. That's what I was trying to target yesterday afternoon, but we never hit it. Okay, you can see this starts to work, right? And even though this is starting to work, and you maybe could have scalped this, I still wouldn't have taken it because again, we're hitting low day. We got a market structure shift up. Okay, so you see our market structure shift up. We have a solid candle over this last higher low or lower high. And let's see if I see something else. And what I like to look for is I like to look for old fair value gaps over here broken, and I like to see them use as support. So in this situation, I want to say this may be broken and then use as support. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so again, we end up projecting this. I still would not have taken this. I don't really care. Okay, I'm still bullish because of these equal highs, and we already took low day. Okay, so the chances we take low day again are very slim. Okay, I know this worked, and I know some of you will go on your charts and you're going to take this the next time, okay? But because we hit low day, I still will not take it. That's just me. ICT does not teach that way. And I also see low resistance liquidity forming. So it's like, okay, I think we're going to break out of this trend line, and then I'll maybe retarget this. But what I'm ideally looking for here is I'm looking for a break above this fair value gap, and then I want to see this use as support. Okay, so no break yet. I would consider this a market structure shift right here. Okay. See how we get lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then this is a very obvious lower high, okay? And then just this displacement, okay? See this displacement? This kind of gives it away. I know this is not a liquidity grab, okay? More often than not, liquidity grabs are going to be old lows and highs. So like right here, okay? None of this old structure. If we break this higher or this low, that is never a market structure shift. The market structure is only the market structure happening at that very moment. So like right here would be a market structure shift. I'd probably look to long, probably right here. Let me check see how, there's also a fair value gap here. So now that I see this, that kind of looks sloppy to me. So I'm going to go on the 2-minute, okay? 2 minutes a little cleaner. So 2 minutes like this, I'd probably try long here because this is a market structure shift. Again, I have no idea what happens. We could hit this low again. Let me check. Okay, so we kind of go through this a little bit. Okay, if you did long here, your stop loss would be, again, where's your stop loss? It's underneath this low. The stop would have never been hit. Okay, if you longed here, this is about a 4-point stop loss. This is kind of sloppy because it's at 5:18 a.m. after London ends, just because the timing will not take it, but you can see the algorithm is still present. So what I'm thinking here is, okay, we went below this fair value gap. I'm still in. I'm still not stopped out. Okay, see a BPR right here, okay? This would be another nice long in my opinion because we have equal lows here. Okay, so this would be a nice long, okay, because we'd be stopping out all these longs and then hitting this fair value gap again. Okay, and okay, if you look at recent structure, look, we make a new lower high here. This right here is not a market structure shift because why? There's no displacement over it. But then this right here, I would consider market structure shift because boom, there's a lot of displacement over this. Okay, so I really like that. And there's also fair value gap right here. I probably wouldn't take this fair value gap, but I would see if we get a fair value gap entry down here. You can also see this one is right here is not in discount. Okay, so this isn't premium. You do not want to long a premium. But this is a market structure shift because this is new structure. Okay, something like this where we already formed the lower high, we already went down. I would never expect this to be a market structure shift over this. It's only the lows and highs we're getting at that very moment. Okay, so we get this high at this moment, then we break with displacement. You can see there's a lot of energetic displacement over this. So I'm probably watching this for long. And the thing in this situation is, this is an old fair value gap, and these are good to use in your screen because if you look, we go under, then break back over. So ideally, you want to see this as support. So I don't even know. I probably wouldn't want this retrace too. Okay, so I probably want to see this fair value gap used as support to be bullish still. Okay, so we end up hitting low of day again, which is very interesting. Okay, so we end up hitting low of day again, and again, I can see why. By the way, you would not trade during this time. Okay, this is a bad time to trade, but I can see why. We had low resistance liquidity. Okay, which basically means, again, I explained it over here. When you low resistance liquidity, we're likely to break it. If you saw that coming from what I said over there, then good job. We have low resistance liquidity. Okay, so I would consider this a market structure shift right here. So let's say, okay, you longed right here. Just look at this. So you long right here, your stop is probably below here. Even if you long right here, okay, 4,006. If your entry was in discount, which it should have been, under here, so let's say your entries are here, which I can't make this entry up. This would have been like my actual entry because it's under 0.5 and there's barely any room. There's barely any fair value gap under this. Okay, this is my entry here, and then it goes up 2 points. Okay, I'm probably already moving my stop to break even right here because that's just my risk management. If you did keep your stop down here, you would have been stopped. Okay, there's a lot more that I'm not explaining right now. Yes, it's a market structure shift. Yes, this looks like a decent long and discount. Okay, but I always say do not long with equal lows below. Okay, and I'm not. And as you can see, these are all equal lows. So I would not have longed this in the first place, but I would consider this a market structure shift. So this is kind of another rule that applies here. But you can see this went up 2 points. I'd probably move my stop to break even. Okay, in the real market, if I was up 2 points, no, I would not. But because this is not as volatile, it makes sense. Okay, and then what happens? I said this looks like a good long. It's BPR. Okay, we bottom tick this BPR, right? So if you went here, your stop would be below 4,001, which would be 2 point stop. You would have bottom tick this BPR, 4,003.25. That's the consequent encroachment of this. Okay, you're up again, another 2 points. As soon as I see this green candle, okay, why would you want to see us retrace back to this low, especially after seeing a candle like that? So as soon as I see this candle, I'm like, okay, I'm moving my stop to break even. It looks good at the time, but then it obviously ends up fails. You probably would have gotten stop to break even, but this is a market structure shift. But the only reason it didn't work is because, again, I have a rule I don't long with equal lows below, and there's 4 equal lows here, which is pretty significant, and there's low resistance liquidity. Okay, so now we hit low of day again. So now that we hit low of day again, none of this. When we break these lows, okay, this is all old structure. None of this is market structure shift. Your market structure shift is your new lows and new highs, okay? So like, if I erase everything, this right here would be my market structure break below, okay? And as soon as I see that, I'm looking for a retracement to this fair value gap, and I'm looking for low of day. But because we already hit low of day, again, I'm not reshorting up here, even though this is a market structure shift before we hit low of day. Now that we hit low day, I'm not reshorting up here, okay? So if we didn't hit low day, this would have been a good short, but again, I would not short this, and I would also consider this a market structure shift up. So see how we get an obvious high, okay, and these green candles alone in this time, okay, I'm like, okay, these are good. This is a good displacement, and now I'm looking for a fair value gap entry, so I'll probably look for one right here. I have no idea what happens. We could reject this. If we do reject this, I do not care, okay? I say that all the time because we hit low day. You do not want to take this, and I know that we do still have some equal highs up here, and then this 5-minute fair value gap up there. So even if we dump 50 points right here, I probably wouldn't care. I'll just kind of reassess. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we blow right through it. We never get the entry down here, unfortunately, but again, this is the market structure shift here. and unfortunately we don't get the entry. And you can see this one doesn't work out like the other one did before where I said I went short, but this one did not. Okay, you're probably wondering, will this be a market structure shift? No, the market structure shift already happened. If I did happen to get long here, this would just be one of my targets, okay? So this would probably be my scale target. And if you look closely, okay, on the 15 second, or this will probably be the 15 second or the, oh, I'm on the 2 minute actually, okay? Some people would consider this a market structure shift. See how we, like I would say, okay, I could argue that this is pretty less lower high, okay? And then we break this with displacement, and even on like the 2 minute, we get a fair value gap here. Okay, this would be, it depends on the day, but I might take this, but I'd really take this, okay? This would be my confirmation because we're breaking a 2 minute lower high. The 1 minute is a little iffy sometimes, but I would consider this a market structure shift. People, you could probably get in at, again, this is an order block. Why is this an order block? Well, we took liquidity and we got a shift up. This is more of a hindsight market structure shift where in lifetime I probably wouldn't take this, but you could. This I would take this right here, okay, this for that gap. It lines up with the 2 minute kind of sloppily, but this is the one I would take. Again, right here, this would not be market structure shift. If I got it, let's say I got long in here, this would just be one of my targets, okay? It's an old lower high, it's not new structure, okay? This old lower high is just, again, I'm not labeling these a market structure shift. The market structure shift already happened. It's in live time. You'll see those in live time. These are just old highs. So going over any of these would be, none of them would be market structure shifts to me, okay? These are just my targets, my point of interest. And obviously my final one's up here. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we end up just hitting these equal highs. This is where I wanted in my, I posted this in commentary the other day before the market closed in my premium, but this is where I wanted yesterday. Fortunately, we never got it. But again, none of these are market structure shifts. You can still see we're going higher, but this right here is the market structure to me. I would like to see if I trade out here, but we never got it. But yeah, and now that we hit equal highs, okay, and we rejected a 5 minute fair value gap, okay, I'm not taking the fair value gap in lifetime. I'm kind of watching to see what happens. Now I'd kind of look for like a confirmation entry, which means if I go in like the 1 minute, I'd be looking for like another fair value gap entry. Okay, so you can see right here, we get obvious last lower low or higher low. I would never draw this if we did not have liquidity or some sort of higher time frame PRD rate. Okay, this is not significant enough to be an actual market structure shift if this did not happen. Okay, the only reason I'm doing this is because this happened. Like on the 5 minute, this would never be a market structure shift. This is just too insignificant, and this could be a pullback to down here. Okay, but because we hit the higher time frame PRD rate, I'll be looking for an entry. Okay, and what I do notice is we do get a volume imbalance right here, okay? So if you don't know what that is, I do have a video on that, but it's basically, see how this body and this body does not line up with the closes of the bodies and the opens do not overlap, okay? And this would actually be a volume imbalance, and this would be a volume imbalance, okay? So they'd both be, so I just draw both. And I'm drawing it from the open of this doji to this open, and the open of this doji to this close. So they kind of be double here. So that to me would be a decent confirmation entry. Okay, now that we get the market structure shift. Okay, and this one I actually did know we already rejected. This is actually true hindsight. Again over here I had no idea what was gonna happen, but I actually knew we did reject this. Okay, right here. Now that we rejected this, yes, this is a market structure shift, but we kind of already, this is not a market structure shift, rather this is more of a break of structure because we're already in a downtrend when we broke this, so this is a break of structure. If I saw this entry and I didn't take it, I probably wouldn't chase another one. Okay, there's not really a fair value gap here anyways, it's short if you look. There is a breaker block though, or no, it's a mitigation block. Okay, so like right here, this is a mitigation block. We end up rejecting that. I did not know that. That I did not know. This is the only thing I knew. And again, this right here, this is not really decent displacement. This is another break of structure. right here, it's kind of like, okay, we already got the entry here. This is the second entry, this potential breaker block, which I would not have entered. This is the only one I would have entered. Why would you want to chase the third entry, okay? And I get this probably does look like another good entry. You could, but to me, this is not enough displacement. I do like these equal lows, okay? So I do like these equal lows, but because it's a third entry, I probably want to try it. If I was in a position, I would probably just move my stop up here because above this would probably be bullish. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is a lot of time. We still never hit these equal lows. Okay, we ended up rejecting this again. I probably wouldn't have taken this. So now my target would probably be these equal lows, and this is the confirmation entry. So I probably would have taken this. We should hit these in a second. But this is kind of the confirmation entry I'm looking for. Like, if I don't take this and I see this, well, then I would probably enter it here. And this is actually a lot of times not hindsight, and I'm probably going to hit these equal lows, okay? So hopefully this helped. I think people struggle with, they kind of look at old highs and lows in market structure shift when you really want to pay attention to the new ones just created. And this applies with any time frame, okay? This is important definitely in any time frame. If you guys have any questions, just ask me in my Discord. Yeah, other than that, peace out.